Hello lads and welcome to another video. It's been a while since I've uploaded. There's been certain things happening, holidays, Sunderland and that. I went on an away day recently at Barnsley, which didn't really go to plan. But I'm back and I'm about a month before the release of FIFA 18. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reviewing the new career mode features which were released a couple of days ago, 31st of August at 1 PM. And I'm going to be reviewing these features and I'm going to be giving my personal opinions, and there will be a video pretty soon in the future where I tell you what my plans are for the next career mode, because I am continuing YouTube. I'll have a lot more time to do it now school is finished and I'm moving on to college. I have a lot less lessons obviously at college. I'm only taking one BTEC alongside a part-time job, so I'm going to try and fit a schedule for YouTube around there and start uploading the same rate I was before I stopped, if not even more. That's the plan. So as you can see on the screen here, the new career mode features, these are what I'm hoping to use to my advantage. I'm hoping that there are some stuff here that can make the game more entertaining and more immersive, more fun to play, because you know, if you start a career mode, you can't really start a career mode and play the game more and more, which is what I want to try and do. I want to make sure that the transfers is not the only part of career mode, because yeah, you want to build a team, but you actually want to play with that team as well and see what the team is like that you played with. You don't want to just build a high potential team and then not play them. So we're going to see what's up here, and we're going to see what FIFA 18 career mode has to offer. Now before this starts, I know they're not going to prioritise career mode, as Ultimate Team is what makes them the most money. I'm presuming Ultimate Team makes them more sales than the actual copies of the game itself. So I'm not expecting this to have as many changes as Ultimate Team does. But I'm hoping there's enough here to play around with, if you know what I mean. So without further ado, let's get onto these changes. Frostbite powers new features in FIFA 18 career mode. We're still in Frostbite, as I suspected. In FIFA 18, career mode is powered by Frostbite 2 on PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Frostbite game technology immerses fans in their career by introducing interactive transfer negotiations, dynamic cinematic news clips in the menu, custom training presets and new broadcast overlays, making the career mode experience deeper and more realistic. Hope so. What I have heard from people who have used the demo is transfers are more realistic. There's no more David Alaba going to Juventus. I'm hoping it's not the case where Man City sign X amount of goalkeepers when they've already got 2 and 1 on loan. Man United don't sign every striker known to man. So I'm hoping that what we've got here is actual decent signings and realistic as they can be. You know, transfer market in real life's kind of wacky sometimes, but you know, transfers which you can see happening hopefully take place in the new career mode. Interactive transfer negotiations. The transfer negotiation process has been completely overhauled to create immersive real-time transfer and contract negotiations. The new transfer hub in career mode lets you keep track of all your transfer targets and listed players, and you utilize the interactive transfer negotiation system. With interactive decision wheels, you can now negotiate in person with opposing club and player representatives, including managers and agents, to strike a deal for that must-have addition to your squad. You can also delegate the negotiations to your assistant for the new transfers hub if you don't wish to be present in the talks. So I presume we're talking about the cutscenes here, which have been shown. I'm sure there'll be a, yeah, you can see here there's a image of the cutscene. I presume the second paragraph is the decision wheels which you got in the journey last FIFA. So you'll be able to use those to add clauses and that to the the player that you want to buy or the player that you want to sell. If someone comes in for your player, you can add a sell-on fee, for example, which I think Spurs did to Gylfi Sigurdsson. So now he's gone to Everton. I think Spurs have got a bit of that money. So that's a real-life example, and it is making the game much more realistic. They've done it in Football Manager. I'll talk about Football Manager in another video about the future of the channel, actually, so stay tuned for that. But they have made it more realistic by adding different parts to the transfers, because before you could only really add a player to the deal. That was it. You could send your price and the player, which was very basic. And in actual contracts, you could only add a percentage of, add a percentage onto the wage if they score a goal, which didn't do anything apart from make you more likely to get that player. So it says there that you can also use your assistant. You can delegate the negotiations to your assistant from the transfers hub. So I presume that means you don't even need to take part in the cutscenes, which, I presume they might get stale after a while. So if they do, then I assume you can just send your assistant along to do that for you, which is a great addition for rare players who, don't want to take part in that, or, just players with different tastes. If you want to be immersed in the experience, you can take part in the talks. If you don't have to. You can just keep it simple. To begin negotiations, enter transfer hub, select the player. So it's just telling you how to do it. There's a new transfers tab. There'll be much more selections to add. You can see there your manager meeting with Jose Mourinho and transfer a player over from Manchester United, or to transfer a player to Manchester United. Much more immersive. They're using the most they can out of the managers, the real manager faces in the game, as well as the Premier League. There are top managers in the game now, I think. The likes of Zinedine Zidane and Carlo Ancelotti are in the game. So I'm all for that, and I think it'd be interesting seeing your manager shaking hands with some of the best around. Sticking with transfers, now we move on to the transfer negotiations with the player themselves. I'm sure that Matic in the picture there? I think that's Matic in the picture. It says here, once an agreement is made on the transfer price, you can negotiate directly with the player and his agent. You'll determine not just the player wage and contract length, but the role in his squad, which is what I've got mentioned, is already in the game. Release clauses, which could be interesting, and newly added bonuses, appearances, goal and clean sheet bonuses. Goal and clean sheet bonuses are already in the game, but alright. And as you offer and counter offer to strike a deal with the player. This, I think, is a good addition. I reckon you're going to have a lot of fun with this. It'll add a new depth to the transfer negotiations, and if I'm not sure how strict they're going to be with clauses and that. If you have to add a clause to a player to actually get him, and obviously it'll depend on the player, I presume, but it could add a whole new depth to the career mode. If you have a player and you want to try and set a release clause for the player, and you have to set that to sign the player. It'd be very interesting to see how that goes, and how the boundaries are between what type of release clause you can set, because it'll always make you know that you do have a chance to lose that player, and that could be the difference between choosing a player or choosing a different player who wants a slightly lower contract in terms of wage and these bonuses as well. This could really decide, it could really have a big impact on the future of your save. So I reckon overall, if these clauses are a big part of the deals and you have to add them on quite a few transfers, I think it'll add a bit more to career mode. I think it'll make career modes go a bit longer, because you've always got the opportunity to lose a player, and then you're going to have to replace that player later on. You can't always have the perfect squad, because you're always going to lose one of the players if you are, say, a lower club, or even if you're a higher club. As you can see here, I'm wearing a PSG shirt. Neymar's release clause was triggered. He's part of one of the biggest clubs in the world. He had a release clause and he went off to PSG. So I don't think any club's going to be safe, and I think that's going to be fun more than anything. It's going to be frustrating, of course, if one of your best players go, especially if it's one of your youth players, but I think it'll be fun at the same time. I think I'm all for that personally. And obviously the other bonuses as well. I've mentioned sell-on clauses to the clubs. I really like the new transfers. I would have liked a bit more perhaps, but they're certainly going in the right direction with this, and I think it'll be very fun to see heartbreak, as it were, in the career mode community when these release clauses get triggered. The next one is what FIFA always love to push through the website, through the advertisements, and it's dynamic news clips powered by Frostbite. They're really pushing through the Frostbite engine, all the graphics, all the licenses that they have. And why not, when you've spent that much money to acquire the license? and I quite like it. They've used Man United again. I'm pretty sure Man United's going to be a theme throughout this web page here. You can say there Lukaku signing for Manchester United with Jose Mourinho. So presume in the news clips it's going to not just be your team, it's going to be loads of other teams, loads of other managers presenting the shirt with loads of other different players and clubs. It says here, once a deal has been completed with both the club and the player, they'll be transferred to your team. In FIFA 18 career mode, all club and player dealings as well as important news throughout the football world will be featured using a new technology that generates news clips that are catalogued in the... Right, they've brought in twice. I mean, $1 million company, EA Sports, cannot proofread their articles. That's good. Good to know. A new technology that generates news clips that are catalogued in the career mode menu. For example, when the player moves clubs, you can now see dynamic representations of the announcement and unveiling, including billboards, lineup shots with their new teammates, and press conference presentations with their new manager. You can see here that there are also Player of the Month awards for players who win it. Once again, Man United used. And you can see the Premier League license alongside David De Gea. You can see it'll give a more meaning usually when you don't even notice who's won Player of the Month in the Premier League. When you see this, you can't really miss it. It's always in the top right hand corner. You'll always be able to see who's won the Player of the Month, and that again is in Football Manager. You can see who's won Player of the Month, and if you've won Manager of the Month, I presume, and when your team wins a title or cup. So it'll be good. I think the news menu will be used a lot more, and they'll be taken much more notice of, which, to be honest, no one really read the news part of FIFA in previous years. So they're really trying to get people to watch that and see what other people are doing as well as your club, I think. The next part of career mode that they're trying to push is training, and I think there's been a bit more added to training this year. With 15 new skill games in FIFA 18, there are more variety when it comes to squad training and player development. Create preset drills and assign them to certain players or specific groups, allowing you to model your development strategy for young players to enhance player attributes or manage a player's return from injury. So again, small steps, but there is an improvement to the training. 15 new skill games. I wonder if you can train different parts of the player, like their physical attributes. You couldn't really do that. You could train stamina a bit, but that was always fitted in with another drill. So I'm wondering if you can train physical attributes. If so, that would be very overpowered. I'm well aware of that. They've also got the other main part, which is you can manage a player's return from injury. It says at the end there, which is massive. If you want your player to return from injury quick, if it's a star player, you will know now that he's probably the priority when it comes to training, and I think that's good. I presume there might be some risk if you train him. Well, I'd like to see some risk if you train him too much, that injury could perhaps be aggravated. It'd be interesting to see, but training, if it's in a certain way of physical attributes and returning from injury, there are no limits to that. I think it could be very overpowered, so we'll just have to see with that. It's very brief in terms of what it says here. We'll just have to see when it comes to the actual game. The next part is quick subs, which isn't an exclusive to career mode. They've just tried to push as much of the game through this career mode tab as possible. You can clearly see that they're just trying to add features which are in the game already for all game modes. This isn't exclusive to FIFA at all. You've got here quick subs. For the first time, you can make in-game change without having to pause the menu with new context-based subs, managing preset substitutions before a game in team management, or take advantage of contextual substitutions in-game prompts. Respond to conceding a goal or missing a chance with a quick sub to get back on the front foot without having to leave the match. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this at all. It's a very, very slick way of making substitutions, and it's very convenient as well. I find that there's nothing wrong with this. It'll be able to, you'll be able to have a free-flowing game in all game modes, especially in kickoff. I think when you're playing kickoff with a mate or something, you can always press the appropriate button for your console to make the game very free flowing. The next part we're looking at is team styles. New team styles come to life in FIFA 18 career mode, as you'll immediately recognise some of the world's best known tactics on the pitch. You'll see clubs' authentic play styles recreated and feel a change in defensive and attacking approaches when you choose a new team or take on a new opponent throughout your career, and hear adaptive commentary which references team style of play. So where you'll hear Martin Tyler talking about how the team are playing, as well as Alan Smith if you use England commentary, which I presume most people do. You'll see here Pep Guardiola's teams, passing it around. You'll see Jurgen Klopp's high press. You'll see the likes of Sean Dyche. You'd see them play long balls quite a few times, I would presume. And styles like that, I think, which can only be good for career mode. I think when you play career mode and everyone's playing the same way, it can get a bit boring, and that's probably why people finish career modes pretty quickly and don't play the games as much. I want the games to be the main part of career mode. I don't want transfers to be. I want to see this team, when you're playing against different teams, you've got to have to find different ways to counteract, and you're not going to be figuring out the computer straight away. You've got to figure out every single different style that it throws at you. What I would like to have seen on top of this was, instead of team styles, we had manager styles, and we had the ability for managers to be sacked and to move clubs in career mode. And therefore, if that manager got sacked and moved to a different club, it would be the manager who implements that style to that club. So you've got to take notice on where the managers go, what type of style they're going to be playing. I would have liked to say that. I don't think they're going to go that far. Obviously, they haven't mentioned anything about manager sackings, but I just thought that would have been nice. But this is good enough depending on how effective it is. How it says here, you'll immediately recognise some of the world's best tactics. It just depends how quickly I recognise them. If I can definitely tell what they're doing, and obviously they don't use those styles all the time, so it'd be interesting to see if they mix it up. Say if it gets later on in the game, they go more direct to try and get a goal. They just try and hoof it up the pitch to as many players as possible. If they try and rush it, if you get down to 10 men, maybe they start passing it around you a bit more. I'd like to say that as well. Again, very brief, we can't really see what's happening, but this will be not just career mode, it'll be all offline game modes, I presume, where there'll be team styles. So we're just gonna have to see. All games against the CPU will have team styles now, which I think is very good. And again, pushing it through atmospheres, authenticity, and regionalisation. You can see this is in all the game modes. They've got the crowds better. I've seen some footage in it. They do look much better, the crowds. With immersive atmospheres in FIFA 18, you'll see true regional differences based on which league you choose to manage in. Region-specific atmospheres, pitch-sized fixtures, stadium-specific banners, high-def dynamic crowds, and more come together to differentiate matches around the world. That's a mouthful. It comes down to what's the most important thing in football, and it's the fans. You just see them bobbing up and down, and there's not a big variety of chants you can hear in the game. You can only hear 2 or 3 per team, but now you've got obviously different fans. You've got you can see the fans individually. It's improved much more over the years, and with the Frostbite engine, I can only see it improving even more. It's a little thing, but it's it's something you want to see in the game. Building on from this, hear crowds chants building up to free kicks in Spain, Germany, and Portugal. Booming voice of a North American PA announcer. The new chants of MLS and Liga teams, which again is good. I like to see different foreign chants used. Be interesting to see North American PA announcers. There's lots of memes going around Twitter about them, and it'll just be interesting to see what chants we see. I'd love to see the fight and win chant from Seattle Sounders. I mean, that's what you buy career mode for. And moving on, we've got experienced the more intense atmospheres of big matches, including derbies, the latter round of cup competitions, and minnows against giant matches, and the fans roar you on. I'd love to play a Sunderland career mode in my spare time, playing the Tyne-Way derby, and for the atmosphere to just be booming through. It will be a more immersive experience and feel like you are managing the team. I'm looking forward to it personally. I'd like to manage a team on YouTube with a big derby, I think. Again, I'll talk about that in a later video, but yeah, I'm very happy with it. You'll just feel it more, I think. It's not hard to do at all, but I do think these little things are going to make career mode a much more immersive experience. And finally, they just added that they've got the new Liga and MLS packages and graphics in the game. I'm surprised that they haven't added the MLS packages a bit sooner, considering where they're based, EA Sports. But they've added that and La Liga Santander. They still haven't got the Barcelona Stadium, I'm pretty sure. But overall, I think authenticity and just the immersion of FIFA career mode is going to be much better, and we're going to see much more dramatic experiences and much more rewarding experiences. I think for winning games, you'll hear the crowds roar much more. It'll be much harder to beat them, hopefully, because last time it was a bit easy to figure out the computer. Overall, my thoughts. I'm not underwhelmed. At first, when I looked through these, I was a bit underwhelmed. But when I was given a chance to think about it all as a package added to career mode, it's much better than what it's been in their previous years, but they haven't really added much. But I think the gameplay as a whole is going to affect career mode, and it's going to improve career mode a lot more. What they've added as a whole just so happens to help career mode a lot. The only thing they've really added to career mode from this list is the transfer negotiations, funnily enough. Which is what people see about career mode all the time. But I have a feeling that, you know, these new fan atmospheres from different stadiums, you know, when you're going abroad to European ties, you'll notice the difference. You know, later stages of cup competitions, as it said, derby matches, you'll feel every aspect of being a manager in career mode. I'm hoping that's the case. They are presenting it as if it is a very immersive experience. They clearly wanted you to think that. Will it be like that? We don't know. We're going to have to buy the game to find that out. Moving on to what I'm going to discuss next video. It should be out next week maybe, and that's going to be all about what I'm going to be doing for FIFA 18 career mode and what you want me to do for FIFA 18 career mode. So before I leave you here, I'm going to ask you, if you have made it the whole way through the video, to drop a suggestion of what teams you'd like me to do for FIFA career mode. I would like to do a team in England, maybe 2 teams in England, and a foreign team as well, which ideally European, so I can take them to the Champions League. As I said, I'm going to try and push through episodes of career mode. I'm going to try and upload much more career mode this year, and hopefully push my channel as far as it can go. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on career mode in the comments below. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later, lads.